Kia ora, ni hao, and hello. Welcome to the Chewy Journal podcast. I'm your host, Camille Yang. My guest today is Pedro Oliveira. Pedro is the co-founder and CEO of Talent Portugal, a Web3 professional platform where builders and creators can create their own on-chain resumes and find the meaningful connections and support they need to succeed. I met Pedro in person when I moved to Lisbon and participated in many Web3 related events and conferences organized by him and his company. In today's episode, we discussed Talent Protocol, why Lisbon became a Web3 hub in Europe, and HR ad technologies. I hope you enjoy the show. I'm super excited to dive into the intersection of Web3, HR, and talent with you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the podcast. It's a pleasure. We've known each other for a while now, and just being able to contribute, absolute pleasure.
Let's start with some fun questions. If you had a chance to recruit some superheroes from the Marvel or DC universe for your Web3 startup, which heroes would you choose for some key roles like lead developer or community manager, and why?
That's a good question. I would say immediately the first character, superhero that came to mind was Iron Man. Mostly because behind the character there's a scientist, and with a lot of character, which I like. So I would go with the my first emotional pick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it like this. My gut pick was
Yeah.
was that one. So I'll stick with my guns.
Yeah, he will be very powerful. I think for him alone, he can operate the whole company very well.
For
Yeah,
sure. Or multiple companies at the same time, more like.
yeah. I know there are so many people very skeptical about Web3. Could you explain the concept of Web3 and how your company Talent Protocol fits into this new paradigm of decentralized technologies?
Yeah, I think the skepticism comes from the fact that crypto or Web3 has been packed with a lot of trading mindset. Who likes Wall Street, right? So it's kind of like the same sentiment, but towards a different demography. So I kind of understand the negative vibes about Web3, but you got to really understand the technology to understand what's the driving force behind it. That's blockchain, and blockchain solves this super old issue, which is the Byzantine generals problem, where the Byzantine generals would work to save the Byzantine Empire, but they
Yeah.
wouldn't trust each other. And that's a problem because then the empire wasn't safe. I mean, at some point it ended, but it was always an unsolved problem until blockchain came in and created through technology a way for people to trust each other based on a distributed system. Private keys, public keys. My background is computer science, so it's not something that is super new for me, but the technology itself, from my perspective, is fascinating. The bringing in this distributed systems with economy concepts. It's just and there's this mysticism. We were talking about superheroes before. There's this mystic behind it with the first paper on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Peer-to-peer Bitcoin, which was like, who did it? Nobody really knows. There's this mystic behind it that I think
Mhm.
kind of fuels the whole thing in a way. Some people, at least. But I think it's to answer your question, like we've had different evolution waves for the web, for
Yeah.
the internet as we know it. The first one was a slow internet. Not many people had access to it. The sites were very clunky. The utility was limited. Okay, but it still was still great. And then we had a second wave, or we could call it Web 2, where the utility was there. Whether it was gaming, whether it was e-commerce, whether it was social, it was just there. And I think Web 3 is the evolution of that, by decentralizing the powers of the previous two internet evolutions. And I think with Web3, we're still in the very early days. We're still figuring out utility,
Yeah.
but I think it makes not only is an evolution of the internet, but I think it's an evolution of society. We both, me and you, we have been exposed to Western cultures and currencies that are more or less stable currencies. Even though you travel a lot more than I do, but I'm more based in Europe, in Lisbon in specific, and we are kind of privileged.
Mm-hmm.
We got a currency that
Sure.
is more or less stable. But I deal with people from all over the world, especially South America, Africa, Asia, through Talent Protocol, where their regional context is very different. They don't fully trust institutions that govern themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that govern them, and much less the financial institutions as well. So, and then Web3 is a transformation not only of the internet but of society in general. For them, the utility is clear because Web3 is not an opportunity; it's a need on the day-to-day basis. So yeah, I think with Talent Protocol, we're trying to support talent anywhere. We're trying to help talent succeed and find fulfillment, find their purpose in life, especially those building in Web3. And we have multiple ways we've been doing this. One of them you've been part of, which
Yeah.
is the
Talent house. Yeah.
scholarship program, where we bring people from all over the world to attend their first Web3 hackathon or conference,
Mm-hmm.
and just understand more about this ecosystem, and bring opportunities to them. I think we've done a good job at it. We've brought
Yeah.
dozens of people. Obviously, we're sponsored by amazing partners like Protocol Labs and Cello that allows us to have this program, and we've been able to do it, and it's a good way to support our mission. Keep in mind that whatever I told you about Talent Protocol, I didn't mention blockchain, because when you're building, imagine you were building Uber or something like that, you wouldn't say, "Oh, we're building a Web2 app." No, you're building a app to call a taxi
Yeah.
driver, or a substitute of a taxi driver. I'm not telling you we're doing a blockchain app or something. Blockchain is involved because the things we do with talent, they go on chain. So we're working on reputational on chain. But keep in mind, when I did the pitch, I didn't mention blockchain, and I think that's the way to go. I mean, it's a natural evolution, and when you realize it, yeah, it's supported by blockchain, but
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, and that's when we're there, and
Mm-hmm.
we're not there yet.
Yeah, I know your background is in computer science. I see a lot of tech people. They're not that interested in HR or talent. So,
Yeah.
what motivates you to build this project, and what's your passion from like caring about people and caring about talent?
Part of it is the way I am. Part of it was luck. Just happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think many careers have this luck component, or random component, which is fine, and I just embrace that. The fact is, this is my Talent Protocol is my fourth startup, and the four that I've created so far, three of them were in the HR technology space. So is that a coincidence? Probably not. So my understanding is that I've always been a people person. I think that, well, obviously I love technology. I think that's kind of the baseline for everything I've done with my life. But I think it wasn't like I woke up one day and, oh, here's my purpose. I think I just step by step started to understand, oh, this is actually something that really works for me, really triggers me in a positive way, which is building products, which is something I love. Not only like the technological part, but the product itself. Finding the fit between, product and market fit. That's what drives my energy up. But from a purpose perspective, that's when I started to realize, damn, I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy long term when I help people be more productive at work, or find their purpose in life. So it doesn't sound bad
Yeah.
if I dedicate myself to that. Plus, it's not a narrow perspective. It gives a lot of space on things to build, things like Talent Protocol. Like I was doing a sabbatical, which I recommend if you anyone listening, if you have the chance, if you have the privilege and opportunity to do that, I think it's a fundamental moment in your life to take a step back and go from focus mode to diffuse mode and allow your brain to just explore things you wouldn't explore in a normal
Hmm.
setting. And before I started Town Post Gold, it's what I did. But anyway, to answer your question, it kind of happened randomly, but I started to understand gradually this makes sense for me, is what I enjoy. So I'm going to double down on it. And I would do this every time. And here we are. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but I remain confident that at least for the next 5 to 10 years, this is the space that I feel I can contribute.
Yeah, at the development of AI, such a buzzword now, and a lot of people say, "Oh, AI will replace our jobs, and there's gonna be a huge unemployment rate raising up." So, what's your opinion about that? Compare AI with human being, human resources.
I think history tends to repeat itself just with different flavors or different sounds. If you want to have a more musical approach to the phrase, I think this has happened before. Just the pace is so much faster, and we
Yeah.
are more, as humans, we are more interconnected than ever. So it just seems chaotic and faster because we are exposed to a lot more information. But this has happened before
Mm-hmm.
in the industrial revolution, in the internet revolution. It's just one more. I'm using it every day to make my again. It's all about utility. I'm using it every day. AI is not something new. Artificial intelligence is a decades discipline. I mean, over since even before the Second World War, so it's almost a century that the discipline exists. It's just that now we kind of have the balance where we have nice experiments crossed with the good models, with machine learning models, and with pretty interesting data sets. So I think we reach a point where the utility just emerged, and honestly, I
Yeah.
think some of the jobs that get axed, like let's say a translator or something like that, or simple translator, I think those jobs were already being axed away. I think, like, I know you translated a book from
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson,
Yeah.
but I think that involves that job. If you were to do it again now, I think you could embrace AI, whatever the tech was,
Yeah.
OpenAI or other, and do it in a more productive way and have more effectiveness. I don't think it removes the human from the equation. I just think some humans will embrace this new tech, some others will be left behind. For me, I love it. I think it's gonna help. Again, going back to my purpose in this life, helping people be more productive at work. AI, the way we know it now, that is very visible and present in our life. It's right. It's just that. So I'm using it every day. My wife, she's a developer. She's using it every
Mm.
day as well. So very happy with where we're going with this. Not worried. Again, keep in mind, generative AI is very different from AGI. That's the next level. We're not there yet. But again, it does drive other questions, especially around, what if we reach a point where some jobs, or a lot of jobs won't need human work or human.
Mm-hmm.
When I say human work, not just muscle work, but brain work as
Yeah.
well. Is our society ready for that? I don't think it is. And I think we need a new social. I was going to say social smart contract, but just social contract that allows people to, I don't like the term UBI because it reduces humans to basic income. It's like it's only thinking about income. I'm thinking more about, it's not a
Mm.
positive term in my opinion. It's more about, it should be, one day we'll eventually, I'll be blunt about this. I think one day we'll live in a society where being unemployed is
Mm-hmm.
cool. Like it's almost like taking a sabbatical is actually quite good. Oh, you're taking you're an employee. Awesome. I mean, what are you going to learn next? Like have you have fun? Where did you go last 3 months? It just become different. I don't think we're ready
Mm.
for that. I think our society is too revenue driven, and it needs to be more ownership and revenue, or a mix of those two. But anyway, it's just a very strong, very long philosophical conversation to have. But all in all, to answer your question, AI, bring it on. Let's do this. It helps us be more productive at work.
I'm very excited. I recently listened to a podcast. Kevin Kelly is on Tim Ferriss' podcast, and they talk about AI won't replace human, but just to finish the task. Not to replace the jobs, but to replace the task. So they can help human finish those unnecessary tasks that take up a lot of time. So we can more focus on doing some creative projects, which is such a good thing for human beings. We don't need to do this repetitive, for example, like a translation. It took me like at least half a year to translate Jordan Peterson's book. I think with Chat GPT now, I probably only take 1 month to do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then the other 5 months, you could be focusing on something
Hmm.
else.
I can do something more.
Exactly. So that's the whole point. I think, sometimes I think we humans we don't challenge ourselves. We're not ambitious with ourselves. We have a very powerful brain. Yes, it does. It's limited because usually it's sequential, only one thought at a time. People who have, when I say people who have are doing two things at the same time, it's not. It's only one at a time. But I look at tools like GPT. It's almost like having a second brain. Like so I'm very bullish on AI, and as you said, I mean, even today, I mean, I write a lot of stuff for either internal or external, and even for legal decision making and fiscal decisions, I'm using GPT. Obviously, if there was a lawyer in this conversation, say, "Oh, but take it easy," because yeah, sure, of course. I mean, of course, obviously, but yeah, it does help. It does help. Be a lot smarter.
Yeah, exactly. I see so many Italians move to Portugal in these recent years. So, as a local Portuguese, why do you think people pick up Portugal as a destination, especially people working tech and Web3?
Yeah, Cam, I wish I had like yeah, this was part of a grand strategy that was designed
Yeah.
50 years ago. The answer is no. It just randomly happened.
Yeah.
It randomly happened. I'm glad it happened. Like I'm not saying, oh, just because it's random. No, we're embracing it, so
Hmm.
it's cool. It does comes with some caveats, like a lot of pressure on local rents for locals or people who have lower incomes. So there's that. But all in all, I think Portugal, Lisbon in specific, but Portugal in general, kind of it was a combination of factors. So I think the rise of so we had this like huge globalization path, right? And the recent years since
Mm.
2015, I think we can coin back to 15. This kind of was attacked by different forces. Okay, the positioning of Portugal, together with some events like Web Summit moving to Lisbon, all these things compounded into something much bigger than the country itself, where Lisbon right now is one of the hotspots when it comes to tech, and I would say almost like Singapore is for Asia, Lisbon is for Europe when it comes to Web3. Kind of like if you're not in Lisbon and you're working in Web3, or if you're not coming at some point, is weird. And you're working in Lisbon. At the same time, we had a lot of people because of Brexit, a lot of
Yeah.
Brits or people were living in the UK. I was one of them. I was in London in 15. I moved to London pre-Brexit, and then I was there during Brexit, and then after Brexit, I was like, first of all, my previous business was around recruitment and bringing people to the UK from the EU. So when Brexit happened, that depleted our pipelines completely. of talent. I mean, it just stopped making sense to business, so we had to adapt. And we adapted by, let's help UK businesses hire, nearshore, offshore, like from Portugal, and more than nearshore, offshore, just be part of the ecosystem. Move there, move there. So we had a lot of startups that moved to Portugal or created like a second satellite.
Mm.
So for me, like Brexit is another situation that happened that Portugal didn't plan or anything. Nobody planned, but it helped because a lot of UK internationals moved to Portugal, and also the this whole Trump, Biden, all this thing. Also, a lot of Americans move to Portugal, and a lot of people also from Brazil. So it became this super melting pot where you just have talent from all over the place. I think you are an example of that. But there's some verticals that are more attractive than others, like, and Web3 is one of them. It just somehow it became a beacon of talent. Like it's calling talent in, just it's just
Yeah.
nonstop. But yeah, it all started, in my opinion. I can coin it back to Web Summit, moving to Lisbon, and it's just a snowball effect. After that, compounded interest and opportunity, and we are where we are, and I think it's going to continue. I see a lot of people now moving to Lisbon, staying a few months here, and then buying a place 40-45 minutes away from Lisbon. And this also drives opportunity for those regions which were kind of abandoned or left behind. In this way, they have a new life. So it's very interesting to see this new wave of income immigration. Very interesting.
Yeah. Before I moved to Lisbon, I was in Aveiro for 5 months. I was doing a music festival. Yeah, it's nice to see some outside areas from Lisbon, so you can really see what local Portuguese people are doing and what's the local culture there, and you can really feel like, oh, I might belong here or no. Because in Lisbon, I feel like it's more like a multicultural city. For example, just before our recording, we were at a talent brunch, and I met two Chinese girls. One was living in Canada, one was living in Germany. They all moved here. I never see so many like Asian immigrants in other European cities, like in the event, especially in tech and female. So I feel like Lisbon is such a multicultural and diverse city.
It helps that it's a safe place as well.
Mm-hmm.
Local population is calm, and the culture is calm as well. Again, we need to pay attention because all these changes can create some sort of backlash. But all in all, I think we have a lot of interesting people moving in. Sometimes they are working to companies abroad, which is
Mm.
fine. A lot of Portuguese people are working to companies abroad, so it's the same. But they also move in and set up new businesses and hire people, and just again, it compounds. So all in all, I think it has been very beneficial. My
Mm.
only concern, beside the backlash, or not a concern, but somehow it's a bit painful to realize that nothing was planned. Maybe the only planning at the beginning was with the Web Summit, that negotiation period with Patty from Web Summit
Mm-hmm.
was, I think it took a little bit. I don't remember how that process went. That was kind of planned, but I don't think there was a macro plan. Uh,
Mm.
Again, I'm
Yeah.
I'm down with that, but could have been better
Better.
planned.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about your team structure? Because you are very into HR. So when you recruit your team, how it works and how is the structure?
So with our team, it's a good question. So when I started Talent Protocol, I had to learn a lot of new things. And when I mentioned what's different about Web3 is not only the evolution of internet, but society in general, work as well. And so, for instance, you can go on my profile on Talent Protocol, and you can see that I want to step down
Yeah, as a
from the
CEO.
CEO
Mm.
role in the next 3 to 4 years, right, until 2015. Hopefully, I do a good
Yeah.
job, or we collectively do a good job, which allows me to step down. it's very weird to see something like that in let's say in a non Web3
Mm,
landscape.
true.
You wouldn't see this
Mm,
naturally, or if this would happen, it would be very weird. I've seen it happen in a lot of places, like Gitcoin. The founders, ex CEO, stepped down, where the community took over. So what we're doing is essentially a centralized process until
mm,
we become a decentralized organization. So we have a very the decision making, the most of the work is being done by a core team, a team of core contributors, and but our roadmap is to eventually become a decentralized autonomous organization. So aka giving back power to the community, where they
mm,
would govern themselves based on token and smart contracts, and they will be the ones calling the shots, because we don't. I mean, this is not uh, from night
mm,
to day, right? You take baby steps to get there. So we're already doing some of those community votes,
mm.
like which chain to go to next, or we have this season KPIs. Can you vote the most important to the least important? So those things we can do because we have community NFTs,
Mm,
and people, even though we haven't launched our token yet, our community token yet, we do have community NFTs called Talent Mates, where people can use them. They
yeah.
represent their membership in the community, and we can use that for voting. So the way our team works is going from centralized to decentralization, but also we're building in public. So you can go on our Notion, you can check the team calls. We try to make it as public as possible. Open source as well. I mean, the other day we had a couple pull requests from random people. Just they found some pull
Yeah.
requests. Just they found a typo. But it's awesome. Like it's just, I think being open is awesome. It is a trade off between. I think there's a
Mm,
mixed trade off between startup and building a public, because as a startup you're always building new things, and there's a trade-off with building new things, but also making sure the
mm,
things you've built are working seamlessly. But also with building in public, there's a third angle, which is making
yeah.
sure that the documentation is all on point, right? And it's a trade-off. I don't think you can do all these three right. And I think over time you need to pick, okay, your battles. Let's do more of this. Let's do less of that. So it's
Mm,
it's always a trade-off between these three, almost like a trilemma, but not really.
yeah. I see. And how did you meet your co-founder? Not just in Web3, but in every startup world, it's very essential to find the right person to work with. So how's your decision making process look like when you pick up
Yeah,
co-founders?
I think from I've been in the HR tech world for a long time, and my previous startup was in tech recruitment, and I,
Ah,
I have to
okay.
say recruitment in general is very hard.
Mm.
But when it comes to founders and founders dating is probably the worst type of recruitment, because the person you're quotes getting in bed with is will bring a lot of liability and financial risk to you personally. So it's a it's a lot of weight on their shoulders, on yours. I think the best thing to do when it comes to founders dating or founder recruitment is to really understand
Mm.
if they are aligned when it comes to values. But also, I think it comes with time. I mean, if you're a first time founder, probability of you doing it wrong are very high.
Mm.
But I think with time
Yeah.
also you understand if that person, from a work perspective, from a values perspective, they are aligned with you, and also how does that fit in the long run. A lot of people don't think about things like equity shares and stuff like that, the split, equity split. They only think about the
Mm.
moment and what happened in the past, but actually equity is a representation of financial and economical representation of potential of the company, of or the organization. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more important to think about the future. A lot of founders, I see a lot of mistake where they only thinking, okay, we'll split the company like this because of the
Mm.
work we've done, when the most important thing is, but what's going to
Yeah.
happen next? Okay, who's going to put in, and also because you want people to be incentivized. all in all is very complex. So best thing to do is that you create
Mm.
or you have some level of trust with these people before. A lot of founders meet at school. Okay, at school, university, it's very common. Why? Because you've been through the hoops
Yeah.
together, and I mean, just build that trust, initial
Hmm.
trust. And with Philippe, is my co-founder. We knew each other
Yeah.
from uni, and we always kept in touch. We've done a couple of projects together, which also helped keep not only in touch, but also rebuild and keep building the trust. And when the time came when I was doing my sabbatical, I had the idea for Talent Protocol. He was one of the first people that I called to chat about it. And the other, we had another co-founder that is now an advisor. That one was introduced to me by yet another advisor,
Mm.
and but I didn't know him before. And
Yeah.
Francisco, which is the CTO and co-founder
Yeah.
today, we worked together in my previous startup, so I knew him for a long time, and always kept in touch with him, and the trust has
Yeah.
been built. So this my two co-founders right now, they are people that I've built trust with before. I think trust takes time.
Completely.
It's not from night to day that will happen. And again, founder dating, founder matching is very, 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 very complex.
Complicated. Yeah. I think I met Francisco today because I spotted his shirt, his talent house.
Hmm.
He was wearing that pink shirt. Finally, I meet all three of you.
Yeah.
Speaking of Thailand house, I was in the first one, I think in Barcelona. It was such a fun experience because I never got a chance to go to the Web3 conference, and I even meet people from Brazil, Russia, and so many young talents there. So, can you give me a brief introduction about how do you come up with idea and how's the journey goes with a talent house?
So it goes back to our mission. So our mission statement is very simple: helping the next generation of builders, especially those building or wanting to build in Web3, help them achieve success and fulfillment. Now, there's multiple ways to get there for this mission. And we've been involved in the Cello ecosystem since the right the very beginning of Talent Protocol, because one of our advisors is a big fan and the tech is quite good. And yeah, I mean it's almost gasless when you use the chain, so it's very easy to use, very easy to build on top. So when it came to Barcelona, they were doing their Cello Connect, which is their year event where the Cello community comes together and builds together and just enjoys themselves together. And I remember like 3 or 4 weeks before, I knew we obviously gonna go there, me and Philippe. This was right after COVID started to settle down, so I was quite excited to, okay, finally proper traveling for conferences. It's a thing again. Awesome, let's do this. And I like we were gonna give a talk at the conference, which was awesome. But other than that, I mean, we're gonna be there. There's a bunch of activities. We had a retreat with one of our investors. Cool, but I told Philippe, we're missing something. Like there's something missing. Like we're not taking advantage of
Mm.
this. It's just I don't know. Something is missing. Think about it. Sleep on it. Let's talk tomorrow. Good. And then the next day, Philippe comes through with, I had this idea. Why don't we now have a growing community of talents. Why don't we bring them together to go to their, first hackathon or conference in Web3? And I'm like, "Man, that's a great idea. So how do we do this?" So long story short, in 3 weeks, 3 4 weeks we set everything up where we got the partners in, Cello Foundation, obviously companies like Ari, NFT, Fly Wallet, and others that supported us in this process. We did it collectively with other startups and communities, which was amazing. And then we brought a bright bunch together in Barcelona to live together. Well, we rented an Airbnb. We like a quite cool one, I guess. Nice location. You were co-living, and attending different types of events and understanding more about the space.
Yeah.
I can tell you, like from we had someone. She was working at Revolut. She moved to Uniswap afterwards, like a
Wow.
couple months after she was, and
Hmm.
it has been life-changing moment for many people, for almost all Townhouse alumni. It has been a life-changing moment. We have this program running all over the world. So the next two editions is Lisbon, Paris, but I've heard Istanbul is on the roadmap, Bangalore, a few others. Africa is also on the roadmap for this year. And obviously we have sponsors that allows us to do this. Protocol Labs is one of the sponsors. Cello Foundation is another. And yeah, I'm very happy about the townhouse because people like you get the chance to, like, high potential talent, they get the chance to go to where the opportunity is, learn from it, learn from other people, meet other people, and then the opportunities just appear, and it's amazing. It's a bullseye in our mission. It's definitely a bullseye. It just makes sense. We're now trying to understand, like, from a gamification and protocol perspective, how that fits in. But I mean, we're doing it with time. Building a product is not a one-off thing; it's an ongoing thing. So we're taking our time and just researching and doing the things that we're thinking the right way, hopefully.
So if people want to be participate in this, they can check out your website. I'll
Yeah,
include the link. Yeah, so they can apply. Maybe I'll see them
yeah,
in ETHCC in Paris.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be there, so looking forward.
Cool. Yeah. In Web3 world, there's a lot of ups and downs, especially downs last year. So how did you cope it? Have you ever like have the thought to give up or facing some tough decisions, especially in the not good year?
So I'm a builder at art. So what attracted
Mm,
me to the Web3 space was not the trading component. Okay, I do understand that for many years, trading was the only utility that you would have, and stable coins appeared, so that more and more utilities started to appear, right? And but for a while there, it was only trading, which is
mm,
fine. It's still an activity, right? And obviously, I don't see the world in black and white. Just you can be a builder, but also have your own portfolio and trade on the side, whatever. Do whatever
mm,
works for you. So I'm not innocuous to market swings. Obviously, they do affect, but I try to just keep focusing on my purpose, what I'm building,
mm,
our community, just making sure we're going in the right place. Obviously, talking about market swings, I do have, like, I always say, the number one priority of a CEO is to make sure there's money, right? If there's no money, there's
yeah.
nothing. There's nothing to do. You're
Yeah.
gone.
Keep
You're
the company running. Yeah.
exactly. So number one, like, obviously a CEO has other priorities, but I would say, like, without money, there's no other priorities. Don't even think about it. So it's almost guaranteeing the present in order to guarantee the future. And so basically, when all these things happen, I had to keep an eye open on this and protect our community treasury. So that's part of my job.
Mm,
I think I've done a good job at it. We were able to safekeep our treasury, especially when it came to the lunar crash. Call it part luck, part wisdom, whatever it was. We were able to safekeep our treasury during those rough times.
mm,
But also it was tough because we had to make some team decisions, some community decisions on. I mean, we had to change our plans when the market turned from a bull to a bear market. We had to adapt our plans. I mean,
mm,
same thing with a company that is launching on a stock market. The IPO date, it's very important. Same thing when SpaceX, I'm just using another dumb example, but SpaceX, when they launched a rocket to the space, I mean, they got to pick the day right, depending on weather conditions. So it's not only about the rocket, it's about other things as well. So we're not living in a lab, we're living in the real world. So the real world will,
mm.
will affect you. So as a CEO, you got to keep an eye open, or the two eyes open, and make sure that you protect your community working in your treasury. So that's what I've been doing so far, and yeah, here we are.
Yeah. So what's your vision for the future of talent protocol?
I think like our vision. So first of all, we're still like a pre-product market fit. I
Mm,
think like in terms of North Star for product vision, I see a world where we can definitely help talent measure their success and fulfillment through accountability, but also through competition, which is something we haven't
mm,
been working on, the competition part. I think humans thrive when they're
mm,
competing. And I think this we need to work on these two components to drive talent forward. Um, I see, well, in terms of product vision, I see a gamified, based on these two components, accountability and competition, a
mm-hmm,
gamified platform experience that allows anyone to build their products, or, well, it doesn't have to be a product, can be music, can be writing, can be anything,
mm,
any creator or builder to just move forward with their career goals. So that's where I see us
mm-hmm,
going. Right now, you can do career updates on the platform. That's going super well. It's almost like a viral loop where
mm.
people update others and then others update others. People just almost like
Yeah.
accountability buddies of each other. Very interesting to see that
Yeah.
in real time, which is a recent feature we've launched. And so I'm very bullish on accountability and competition when it comes to our product vision. How we will build this, future will tell. We keep
Mm-hmm.
learning from our community. We keep experimenting as well. But again, I'm very bullish. I think we are on the right path. We keep having talent just organically talking about us, organically joining the platform, and it's been an amazing, because talent protocol is only 2 years old, and these 2 years have been crazy, crazy, crazy. Let's see
Yeah.
what the next two hold.
Yeah, what impressed me most is you keep launching new features, and yeah, it's like a very vivid child. Well, say talent protocol. There's so many new things. Every time I see new feature, oh, I want to try, and yeah, just keep it alive,
But
which is good.
it's good, but it's also again a trade-off with making sure what you've built. So it's I would say, just so people, like especially new first-time founders, don't get ahead of themselves, which is, I mean, you gotta keep launching, otherwise you're dead in the water. But it's the right balance between launching new things, but experimenting with them, looking at them as experiments, and being
Mm,
okay with killing legacy. I think a lot of startups die because you're too hooked on the things you've built. And the second part is not only focusing on the things you've built, making sure that the ones that things you build, but making sure the ones you've built already are working seamlessly. And again, it's very hard to do it.
mm,
And if you add, as I said before, the building public part, then it becomes a nightmare, a living nightmare. But yeah, all in all, appreciate your words. We keep doing our best. Some of the things we've shipped
mm,
didn't work. We do a lot of postmortems, a lot. I mean, I've never been in an organization that does this amount of postmortem. It's almost like we're killing bodies all the time and doing postmortems on the bodies. But it's good. I mean, we're learning from that process and documenting those learnings, so that when we do it next,
yeah,
we can do better. So yeah, let's see where this 2 years, the next 2 years take us. But in the meantime, we keep helping talent gain self-confidence, be more visible, be more accountable, be more competitive, drive their goals forward. So I think we're definitely helping a lot of people, and that's yeah, going back to my purpose, uh, bullseye on my purpose, on my personal purpose.
yeah. So, what do you think the biggest differ you from the traditional professional network platform like LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn. By the way, we have a great relationship with LinkedIn innovation team. They have, obviously they're looking into Web3. Probably they're now more focused on AI. But there were a lot of they had a lot of focus on Web3 some time ago. But I think like from an experiment point of view, our platform is future thinking. It's accountability thinking. Theirs is more like about present and past. They built a recruitment machine basically. So you're the data. They're monetizing your data for recruitment. Any company that needs recruitment, they use LinkedIn, which is great. I mean, it's great business. We don't have a recruitment angle on talent protocol. Like obviously we know a lot of talent and a lot of a lot of people are either looking for jobs or hiring. We do like I think the plan there is to have some partnerships, and LinkedIn could be a partner to help with that. Okay, because we don't want to focus on that component on the recruitment. Recruitment is quite hard and low margins, and it's very hard to do it right. I mean, no one has been able to nail recruitment 100%. It's very hard because it involves humans analyzing other humans, and that makes things very, very complex. And I think AI, if AI solves that, I mean, well, then I would say, okay, maybe we'll be out of jobs, all of us, because that problem right there, like that would be fascinating to watch. Maybe we're closer than I think, which is great. So yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So apart from talent protocol, you are also part of DeNites, like a event platform to connect with the local Portuguese Web3 projects and people. So can you tell me more about this one? Like how do
Yeah.
you come up with that with this idea and how it works?
So actually, it's a very good prelude to what I want to do with Talent Protocol, about my own role, because on D nights I was part of the leadership team until early this year, but then I stepped down because my role was done pretty much. So with I'm still a member of D nights, proud member. Got my NFT membership card, and basically D nights started out as what we were talking before, with Portugal being so attractive to everyone and every organization, and Lisbon in specific. And when it came to Web3, it was this times 10. And we were like, damn, all these events happening in Lisbon. This was like 2 years ago. All these events happening in Lisbon, if Lisbon, Solana, Checkpoint, and all,
Mm,
all these events happening at the
mm-hmm.
same time. We're like, damn, it's like, let's do something during this period of time, but do it differently.
Yeah.
Join the local startups and just do events to onboard people into Web3 and just chill together. And we came up with this concept of D nights, decentralized nights, where we would have like from 7 to 11, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. We would host events and would have everyone chipping in some money. So, and we did it. The first year, 2 years ago, was, I mean, there was the leadership team was organizing everything. Everybody chipped in. It was amazing. I mean, to see the community come together
Mm-hmm.
like that. After that, we were like,
Mm,
well, what if this was more like a DAO, where DeNites DAO would fund decentralized, would fund communities who want to
mm,
organize Web3 events. And that's what we did. So my main job as part of the leadership team there was fundraising. So I fundraised over 100K for the DAO,
mm,
which supported a lot of events during the next 1 year, a year and a half. And then when like we did
mm,
a bunch of them in Lisbon, Porto, Madeira, Braga, so all over
mm-hmm.
Portugal. And then when that was done,
Yeah.
I was like, I talked to the other leadership members. I said, I think my job is done here. Like, that's where I'm strong,
Yeah.
and I want to give the room to someone else to take over. Paulo, which has been in Dallas for a long time, Paul Fonseca, he accepted the challenge. But eventually the DAO needs
Mm.
to evolve in terms of governance, so we can have like voting on the leadership team or something like that. Funding, like it needs to become more of a DAO. But when I say more of a DAO, it means it needs to become more decentralized and more autonomous
Yeah.
as an organization from all perspectives: autonomous financially, autonomous from governance models, in many different ways. But all in all, it's been amazing. We've brought thousands of people together. People who didn't knew anything about Web3, they're like, "Oh, this is actually cool." They even do parties, like, "Oh, nice." It's
Hmm.
just such a
Party like locals.
exactly, and
Yeah.
such a chill environment where like you don't even feel the pressure. You're not going to a workshop or anything. Maybe sometimes we did a panel before or something like that. Just
Yeah.
if you really want to go a bit deeper, maybe you can have like some learning components before. But yeah, we started to test different things as well. Sometimes we would have a co-work day followed by a party. So it's just a chill environment, get people to make real connections and get into Web3. And yeah, I think we were able to deliver that. So you can go on DeNites.com
Hmm.
and check it out.
Yeah, and it's also good for newcomers like me, so I can meet a lot of local peoples and learn some Web3 knowledge as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, what's your advice for young people who want to step into the Web3 world? What's your big three advices for them?
Step one is set up an account on Talent Protocol. Start building your network of supporters. Start to build up that self accountability. I think Talent Protocol is creating a nice experiment for that. Okay. Second of all, don't be afraid to apply
Mm,
for multiple grants that exist out there. And third, to go
mm,
on events and hackathons and just get building. Don't worry about too much about what you're building. Just ship it. Just show it. The more you show to more people, the better it is. Even if it's
mm,
pardon my French, even if it's shit, it doesn't matter. You're just the fact that you're putting out there, exposing yourself is 100x more than many other people. So I hopefully that becomes the standard. And yeah, so I think those three things would be more than sufficient to ambitious undiscovered talent to just resurface to surface and get noticed.
yeah, because you mentioned that you probably will switch to education tech in the
Yeah,
future.
that's
So,
my next pet.
yeah. So how will you prepare this journey, and what gets you most excited about this space?
I think education has always been around the corner for me. Like being in HR
Mm,
tech, it's always there. It's that thing that it always connects, whether it's recruitment, whether it's what we're building on Talent Protocol with all this belief economy around talent. It's always there. It's always been there. Now I'm a father, and I think this kind of changes things a little bit. At least it brings more skin in the game for me. I started
mm,
just exploring the educational tooling solutions out there. There's very interesting stuff being built, right? And what I want to do, post Talent Protocol is just take some time off, do a sabbatical,
mm,
and this sabbatical will probably be focused on, a couple of technologies, whatever it is. Then in 2 3 years time, just go deep. Uh, but also is focusing on a vertical perspective on this edu tech, so ed tech
mm,
component. So it's kind of the crossing between whatever technology I think is fundamental for me to learn on
yeah.
a deeper level, but also going deeper in this vertical. I think uh, the sabbatical I did before was quite successful. In the sense that I
Mm,
started something new. I allowed myself to go on diffuse mode, so I want to do the same again. Allow myself to go on diffuse mode, hopefully more than 3 months this time. Just learn about the field and then go
yeah.
in. I think it can. I've seen a lot of solutions. I think I can execute better. Some of the things I love. I think maybe I can execute better, but I want to give me the space, the mind space to learn And I want to give, I just can give me. It's not like I didn't work my ass off. Like I worked
Mm-hmm.
my ass off for this.
Yeah.
I give myself the opportunity to go into diffuse mode, learn, but having this focus in mind. So that's where it's coming from. The going into this space, which is HR tech. I look at it as HR tech as well. It's not the same, but it's in the field of helping people find their purpose. I mean, working with kids is very interesting, very very interesting. They're in the transformational moments of their lives, and their brains are developing, so it's ripe for helping them educate themselves. I don't want to go into how to do it. I have a lot of ideas every day. I just want to take time, learn, and then go at it again.
Yeah. Okay, last question. You mentioned you're a father now. So what's one big lesson you want to pass on to your child?
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question. I'll whenever I get a question in this context, I have this tile at home. A Portuguese thing, especially in Lisbon, you have the buildings with tiles,
Oh yeah, yes, tails.
and
Yeah.
you paint the tiles
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. So I have one at home because you have these phrases, right? You write on the tile. So
Ah,
one of the
okay.
phrases that I have there to remind me. So it's not like I wake up every day, I look at the phrase. It's
Yeah.
not that, but it's there. It's there. It's an important thing for me. It represents a belief, and the belief is that life is hard if you're soft. So
Mm,
I think that's the biggest thing I want to pass to my legacy is life is hard if you're soft. So try not to be soft most of the times. Um, Try to make your life easier in
yeah.
essence by not being soft. This can have
Mm,
multiple meanings. I think for me as a meaning, for my kids will
mm,
have a different meaning. Whatever the meaning is, the fundamental thing is if you don't know anything about it, it
yeah.
definitely will get harder
Sure.
for you.
Thanks for
Okay.
sharing that. And thank you very much for your time. I'll see you soon.
All right. Cheers. Thank you so much, Cam.